What's up, guys? We are back for another week of best bets and props. This time it's for UFC Vegas 51, Luque versus Muhammad 2. And I gotta say, I'm pretty excited for this card. It's a bit of a departure from last week's pay-per-view where it was name after name after name value, the entire fight from top to bottom. This time there's a lot of newcomers, a lot of, mid-level fighters jockeying for position here, trying to keep their contract, and maybe even in some cases here. So let's get into it. Some of the money lines that I like, there are two in particular that I like on this card. And first off, it's none other than the main event. Vicente Luque, I do like at minus 170 to minus 180 is what you'll find him at currently. I got in at minus 175. I do like him. He's a potent finisher. He's got all of the physical advantages you would want in this weight class. He's, he's dangerous wherever the fight goes, is why I like him in this spot. It's not like he needs to get the fight, to the ground or keep it standing. Probably be better for him if he keeps it standing for the majority of the fight. But he's so dangerous on the ground as well on a 2-fight submission win streak. He's already disposed of Belal Muhammad once before. Belal Muhammad has very much improved since then, but I'm not too impressed with the win streak that Belal Muhammad has been on as of late. You can kind of pick apart some of his wins, although they are still wins. And I think he does have a path to victory in this fight if he can control, the majority of 2.5 rounds here, win 3 rounds with some good ground control time, the way that he did Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. I think he can win this fight. I just don't think it's as likely as Vicente Luque's chance of having more avenues to win in this fight. And for minus 175, that's looking pretty cheap compared to like the lines last week where we're, losing a bet with Peter Yan at like minus 500 or whatever the hell he closed at. So I like that. Probably more confident than that is Martin Buday. He is a UFC debutant in the heavyweight division, Slovakian heavyweight off the Dana White Contender Series. Very, very dangerous guy on the feet. He's got some dangerous ground and pound as well. And luckily for him, he had to make his Dana White Contender Series first impression in front of the boss and the matchmakers against Lorenzo Hood, who's a very huge, hulking, true heavyweight, 6'3" or 4", 80-inch reach. And he disposed of that guy, within 1 round. So he's probably looking at Chris Barnett here like a steak, the way that he's a 5'9" heavyweight, somehow still tipping the scales towards the heavyweight limit. Not an impressive win, honestly. It was a very flashy knockout he had in the fall against Gian Villante. But let's face it, if Gian Villante wasn't retiring in that fight, it would still not be that impressive of a victory over Gian Villante, one of the most, the bottom of the barrel heavyweights, bottom of the barrel light heavyweights, way past his prime. And the fact that he went into the fight announcing retirement, it was not a very impressive victory. Before that, he came in short notice against Ben Rothwell, a very formidable opponent, but the way that he lost, just one of the most unimpressive performances you'll ever see in the UFC octagon. I think Martin Buday makes quick work of him. If this fight leaves round 1, the cardio of Chris Barnett falls off drastically, and I think Martin Buday will have no problem, just taking him out inside the distance. The money line, I think, is fair enough, minus 230 for Buday. I'm all over that. But if you want to take Buday inside the distance by KO, TKO, which is the way that he wins his fights, that's plus 115 by KO, TKO. I like the juicy prop here. Martin Buday by KO in round 2 at plus 550. I've even seen plus 600 out there. That's just more of a fun, throw a fraction of a unit on that because, Chris Barnett is known to survive round 1 and then go into round 2 looking absolutely gassed. So, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the outcome either. I like Buday by KO in round 2 at plus 550. I'm pretty heavily invested in the money line. I'm not sure if I'll get... You know what? I'll probably will. I'm going to write this down. I'll make that bet. Why not? I'm putting it out here. I'll throw a fraction of a unit on that as well. I just like how juicy that is, and I see that being... if I look into my crystal ball for how this fight plays out, I can see Chris Barnett taking a lot of damage in round 1, stumbling to the stool, coming back, breathing heavy, mouth open, getting finished in round 2. If I had to pick an underdog on this fight card, I picked a few in my best bet, in my prediction video, my full card breakdown. I picked a few underdogs, but the ones that I really I like Caio Borralho, but at plus 115, barely an underdog with a lot of plus money on him. And I can see that fight going the other way about that probability. So I don't think there's a lot of value on him as an underdog. But one underdog that I like as far as most value, if I had to pick an underdog on this card that I thought was most mispriced, it would be TJ Laramie at, I've seen him as high as plus 400. I understand that Pat Sabatini is a more matured, more well-rounded fighter, maybe. He's got that amazing ground ability. But on the feet, TJ Laramie is a world of experience for his age. And speaking of his age, he's bound to make, improvements. His younger brother fights in the LFA. I'm sure they're active training. They've been training their entire lives, basically. And I think if Pat Sabatini, for some reason, cannot get this fight to the ground, and TJ Laramie has made improvements on the feet, I think that can be a lot closer than a plus 400 underdog price would indicate. So, I still think, don't get me wrong, I'm sticking with my prediction. I think Pat Sabatini, I am pretty confident in him, but I'm not minus 500 confident in him, I got to say. And I think that is a mispriced underdog that has some value on it. I'm not going to go that route myself, but if you were on the TJ Laramie side, I don't hate that very much at all. So, I'm on Sabatini's game plan. I think he does get the takedowns. I think he is potentially able to end the fight, but if not, just rack up control time. One of the last props I have on this card is Healy Alatang and Kevin Croom. Fight goes to decision. I think in this weight class, it's likely it goes to decision. Kevin Croom did have one quick finish, very, very quick finish that was overturned to a no contest against Roosevelt Roberts. Healy Alatang has shown, however, great durability, and I think Healy Alatang has a chance to win this fight. I picked Kevin Croom to win just by the slightest of margins because he's plus money, and I think that the size advantage in this fight could give Healy Alatang trouble, not to mention Healy Alatang's poor fight IQ at times. And we saw in his last fight, he could have had a victory if it wasn't for blatant fouls in that fight. Sometimes he goes for the takedown, sometimes he doesn't. If he goes for the takedowns in this fight and is successful as somebody like Brian Kelleher was against Kevin Croom, he should cruise to a decision victory here. I think that the size of Kevin Croom is going to aid in his durability in this fight and drag this out late. And I think Healy Alatang, if he can stick to a game plan that's able to win him this fight, it'll be by racking up control time, some activity on the ground, racking up time against the clock. And I think this fight does go to decision, and I found that at minus 150. I like that very much. Both aren't very dangerous finishers anywhere. Like I said, I know Kevin Croom does have a quick finish, but I don't see Healy Alatang falling to that type of scenario. So, so those are not very many props in this card. Those are the ones that I like. Now the two moneyline picks that I spoke about at the beginning, Vicente Luque and Martin Budai, I've parlayed those two together for my top parlay this week. I like those. I got greedy. The money lines, don't get me wrong. So if I'm going to parlay two fighters, obviously I'm confident in the money line themselves. You could bet both of these fighters individually and not add that added risk to it. I think that there's great value on both of those lines. But I'm parlaying them together for a plus 125 parlay. On top of that, my next two confident fighters I've added are Pani Kianzad and Drakkar Klose. So that 4-fight parlay now is at about plus 230. And then I added on Sabatini and I added Mayra Bueno Silva onto that as well. Those are my top 6 confident fighters, and that 6-leg parlay is plus 400. So those are the spots that I like on Saturday night's card. Just for shits and giggles, tomorrow night is Bellator 277. Very stacked card. I'm very excited for the fighters on there as well. And there are 2 moneyline spots that I have hit that I do like. Not very costly, not very chalky, but I think they will hit. That is Vadim Nemkov at minus 150, and that is Linton Vassell at minus 140. So if you guys want to follow that as well, I think those two have value on them. And not very expensive moneyline picks either for a little bit of Friday night action on Bellator, which I watch Bellator almost every single time. So, you're going to see these guys go back and forth. You're going to see UFC veterans in Bellator and future UFC stars coming out of Bellator. It's important to watch these other organizations, not just the UFC. So that's my action. Let me know in the comments what you guys have for your action this week. I'm always interested to hear. You guys always have great opinions in the comments. And just leave a like, leave a subscribe. Good luck in all of your betting action this weekend, and I'll talk to you guys Sunday for the recap. Cheers.